What's up, guys? We're back with Miles TV, and we are doing another review of Retrograde. And of course, we have my lovely co-host with me, Faye.
Hi.
And what
Why are you
episode are
still
we
pointing
on?
at me? Episode 4.
So
4.
4. Yeah. So this episode was a lot better paced, I would say. It went a lot smoother, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think they're finally getting into their groove. That's what I would say. So,
Yeah.
you know, instead of Kronk's new groove, it's now, Homebrew's new groove.
Okay. A bit of Grant says housekeeping, so I say housekeeping, but a bit of housekeeping is TJ has stepped back from the homebrew, and he will not be in any more episodes. So Callus is, maybe he'll just disappear from the ether, or maybe Grant will make him an NPC. Who knows?
I'm kind of hoping he just becomes an NPC that maybe they deal with from time to time.
I hope so too, because like in this episode, like at this point, well, no, this episode was before the announcement. This episode was before they announced that he was gone, but Sapphire was like still like, I text Callus, so I was like, why would they be talking to him if he's not a part? So maybe they didn't know yet, or maybe they're just like have plans for Callus. And then, never mind. All right, but hey, let's get into the episode. This is episode 4, Countdown to Obliteration. We pick up right after we last left. In the destroyed apartment of Sapphire's, and Cece went back to her apartment to go to sleep, or was she sleep in Sapphire's apartment?
No, she went to her apartment to go to sleep.
Okay. Sapphire gives Lumi a job to find out who has been paying Sapphire's rent, right? Sapphire, no. I'm getting mixed up here.
No.
Who was
Sapphire
getting the rent paid?
It was Cece. And it wasn't their rent. It was just like under the table to make sure she got the specific apartment.
I could have sworn she said rent, but okay.
No,
I could have missed that.
Cece was actually paying her own rent. She just had somebody else apparently pay, or she didn't know it, of course, paying to make sure she was above Sapphire's apartment, I believe is what it was. I always get it confused if it's above or below.
She also paid to have somebody find out who broke into her apartment and who was paying this off and everything. Then we go to Kat. He's in the back of Rhonda sleeping. He is woken up, and a little battery. I wonder if like a little depleted battery pops up on his screen. Sapphire wakes him up to like take her home. And he of course does. Sometimes I'm like,
he should have gave a sad face, cause he's tired.
Yeah. Everybody's tired. That first session with everybody just immediately staying up was just like, oh well, okay. Then we cut over to Roger. Roger was working on his new song while heavily medicated. They do some roles and they kind of get everything together, and Roger decides to write a song about destroying the moon. I don't know if this is Grant, or everything makes me paranoid when it's Grant, but I don't know if this is like foreshadowing or anything like that, but okay.
Oh, he's not the one that brought up blowing up the moon. That was Cody. That was all Cody.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean,
maybe Cody's playing into it and he doesn't know it.
Yeah. We go back to CC's and Sapphire's apartment there. Then we kind of like look around the place. We find out that there was no forced entry. Sapphire shows up and we find out that the object is safe. We don't really know what object it was or anything. She looks around and she doesn't find anything like trackers or mics or anything, any bugs, which she didn't roll that well anyway. So who knows what's really in her apartment.
Yeah, but she also didn't say anything in her apartment. So even if there were bugs, they're not going to get much.
I mean, maybe somebody just wants to watch her.
Okay, that's just creepy.
While sleeping in the back of Rhonda, Kat is awakened by two boosters. They tap on the glass with some guns, and Kat's like, "Hey, I got a window from the 1930s, so I gotta go to the front." And he conveys this.
This whole time I'm sitting there listening to this at work, I am screaming. I'm like, this man is about to open the window. He's really going to open the window for these people? I thought he was going to.
I did too. I thought, I really just thought like when he saw the people, he was going to roll down the window and just be like, "How may I help you?"
Well, that's how he's playing him. He's playing him where he's kind of like innocent and almost gullible. So that's why I thought.
So we just need to give Kat a little bit more credit than what he's been getting. So, but he ends up climbing to the front of the car, and he can control Rhonda wirelessly through his cyber tech or whatever, and he ends up speeding off in Rhonda, and Rhonda takes a couple of shots from the boosters. She's just slightly damaged, nothing too serious.
Look, Grant was trying to give us combat. He tried. It just didn't work out.
He did try. I would say as a DM, he did try, but it did not work. But that combat probably would not have been as good. Two boosters versus one. I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't.
We might be missing more than just Callus.
That could have went badly real fast. We fast forward a little. We definitely need like a timeline tracker at this point. Which I mean, they always say like 3 weeks or it's been a month or whatever. But we fast forward 3 weeks, and everybody. I lost my place. They all meet up before like the 3 weeks jump to have a meeting. Cece goes over the plan, kinda again, but it's not like back and forth like last time. This time she just goes over the plan and that's it. Kat is so carefree. He tells everyone he got shot at. Everybody's like, "What?"
I was like, "What?"
Just how he's just like, "Hey, some boosters shot at me," and I'm just like, okay, yeah. Anyway, we roll to see who gets work. Everybody rolls to see what kind of gigs they get and how much money they get. CC doesn't get any jobs at the start. Then she earns 200 nano by helping someone find something in particular. Sapphire delivers supplies to a client. Second week, she sold some used cyberware, which is disgusting. And then she gets a gig helping a trauma team. She ends up making 400 nano. Roger does a gig twice for an old lady and then he does a gig for the Hawk. I forgot how much money he made, but
for the gig for the lady, he actually made 600 nano, and the gig at the Hawk, he made 200 from it, so 800 altogether.
Yeah. So he made 800. Kat does a little smuggling gig, then spent the rest of his time racing. He did I think it was 6 days of racing. Rhonda ends up taking a lot of damage from going down this road. Because where were they racing? In the Shumery? Near the Shumery?
Yeah, it's a Yeah, it's near the Shroomery. It's a dirt road from what I remember. So that's why he took a lot of damage. Or, excuse me, why Rhonda took damage.
The last race he ends up winning, and God, every time, Pippin, if you're listening to this, every time you win a race, I need you to go vroom vroom.
Oh God.
He did that once. He did that once in the intro, and I just want him to do it every time he races now.
I want to know how he got this car, because we found out that she's a super luxury car, a 30,000 nano car. I'm sorry, my theory is that he stole this car from somebody. Insert Jeopardy.
Oh, okay. I get it. All right. Well, I found I don't see like how much, but you can like build a car in Cyberpunk, and you start off with you basically get all the components or whatever. Let's see. He has a. I wonder if Rhonda has any like offensive weapons, because how you like build your starter car, and you basically put points into whatever you want to upgrade. And
well, we haven't had a chance to see that yet, because they keep avoiding combat.
Having a bed in there is housing capacity. When you install in a ground car or AV4, this upgrade adds a sleeping area with one bed, a toilet, a shower, and a small kitchen to the vehicle, turning it into a. Will install the cabin cruiser. I mean, he's got a bed in there.
He probably doesn't have all the rest of that.
Yep. And then this goes for a lot of the weaponry. Anyway, okay. Where was I in my notes? Where are we at on the time? So I know where to cut this out. We're 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cat gets a couple of jobs. He wins his last race, and he actually scores 1100 nano, but he has to use a lot of that repairing Rhonda. Well, not a lot. I think he used just 300, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that much.
Lumi can't find anything about Rory or Oven. She also gets a little information on the elves. I think it was all stuff that we already know that Lumi found out, so nothing to go over there. That was like brand new.
Yeah, they're all, low tech, unplugged. The Archivist is ancient. It's stuff everybody already knew.
Yeah. I see why Yu-Gi-Oh! And other type cartoons repeat what's happening now like a million times. Like, I play my trap card, it does this. 2 minutes later, it does this because this. And because, I mean, like, a lot of us have bad memory, so having stuff repeated is nice sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I get it. Roger demands that his band practices every day until the show. He's getting like really OCD about this. They end up doing a good job. The practices go off really fine. Lumi ends up finding some footage for Sapphire. It is someone who works for someone named Daenerys.
Yes.
They were they talked to the landlord for a while, right? And then when they got into the apartment, they looked like really panicked and everything. So
for some reason, even though they broke into her apartment, they had a key. I'm wondering if maybe they bought the key from the landlady, because I mean they are paying for Cece's, extra payment or whatever. But I just think it's funny that they keep saying it's breaking in. I get that they broke in. They didn't really. They had a key.
Yeah, they used the key, and in which they said that, like, she had it. There was no forced entry. They had a key. They just kind of destroyed the place once they got inside. So obviously they were looking for something. But we do. It's funny because everybody's like, do you tell anybody what happened? And everybody was like, do you tell me? Do you tell me? Do you tell me? And but she ends up telling Callus. Well, she texts Callus saying we need to talk, and then she tells Cece what happened. It was her ex that we kind of dropped, that this was Sapphire's ex that kind of went into her. So she dated a Ketik before, and this seems like it was him. I don't know if she's saying the person who got into her apartment was him, or the person who made him do it was him.
Yeah, I meant that was probably left vague for a reason.
Yeah, that was a little unclear, but I'm pretty sure it's the person who made him do it. Cece works at the bar while Reika works on Rhonda, and it was so funny because Kellen was like, hey, is everything okay? Do you need help with finding jobs?
No, the funny part is the fact that, Grant roasted a pregnant lady. I can't remember what he said, but it was something about her working on the car being pregnant.
Oh yeah, because she didn't fix it all the way back or something, and
that's what it was.
He said something.
She didn't do that good of a job.
Hey, for a pregnant lady, she got around.
Yeah.
Kat meets with Tritus, and this part, oh god, Grant, why? This is the part that just had me going, Grant, you're stressing me out. Kat meets with Tritus. He starts staring at the wall again like he did last time, and he was basically like, why are you here? He was basically giving me who am I vibes, and
he's malfunctioning and forgot who Kat was.
Well, I mean, he didn't even know why he was there. Like, it kind of like, he didn't say it, but it was kind of like he didn't know why he was there, who he was, or anything like that. So I mean, of course he forgot who Kat was, but scroll down. He finally said, Kat finally asked him, like, can I help you? Like, what's wrong? What seems to be the matter? And Tritus says something like, I'm trying to remember exactly what they said because I didn't write it down, but he was just like, he didn't roll well, so Tritus was kind of like, they get to the cut of it. Like, Tritus was like, do you see a child holding a red ball? And Kat saw him for like half a second. So I'm starting to think Tritus is malfunctioning, something's going on there, and Kat is starting to malfunction, and there's something going on there.
You know, maybe
But
it's not malfunctioning. Well, I guess technically that would be a malfunction, but maybe it's like a virus that they're catching.
yeah, and I'm using that term loosely. Like, I'm just kind of saying something isn't right there, and trying to figure out. To me, hold on, let me read my notes before I jump the gun here. Cat does tell Tritus he wanted a raise. He almost hit the child, and that's how Tritus got to, like, oh, you see the child too. Tritus asks if he sees the kid. Yeah, I skipped over a little bit, but that's fine. I think that the Awoken are they awoke all at the same time to the same subconscious. Let me read my note. The theory of the Awoken is that they share one consciousness, like one consciousness woke them up. Don't know who from, I'm gonna use campaign 1. Somebody from campaign 1 maybe died or spread their consciousness into the ether or whatever, and this is who the Awoken. I can't think of who had a wife and son in campaign 1, and maybe they disappeared and was waiting for them to come back. But I'm going to wait a couple episodes before I lock this theory in to see, because the kid's waiting for, he's like, hey, like, mom's waiting on you. So if the mom shows up, I know this is somebody else's consciousness. This isn't the kid's consciousness, if that makes sense. Because if it's just the kid, then it's the kid projecting himself. But if it's the kid in the mom, then it's like the dad's consciousness. So then I can run with the theory like, oh, this is the dad, and he's projecting his family to the Awoken race.
Which that makes a lot of sense, because the only time that they see the child is when there's enhanced feelings, which of course they're robots. They don't actually have feelings. So like he saw him when they were getting
emoji right now.
Well, it's because, like, think about it. In the first episode, he's getting or they're in the middle of the fight, or quote unquote fight, in the very beginning in the prologue. That's when he sees him the first time. And then later on in that episode, he sees him when he's getting this kind of stressful job. And that's every time that he's seen this child, it's been an enhanced feeling.
Yeah. And I get that. But I can't wait to, like, I mean, like, you have way better memory than me when it comes to the homebrew. Is there anybody who comes to mind that has a wife and child that disappeared or maybe ran with the crew?
You're gonna laugh at me, because the only thing that I can remember is when they were in one of the simulations and Carl said he had a girlfriend and a kid, but it wasn't his kid, it was her kid.
What if it's the AI that Carl created? And hold on, let me cook for a second. Let me cook.
Hold on. Where's my red string? I have it somewhere.
What if it's the AI waiting for Carl to come back? Because then the AI could change its gender, but
no, it wasn't that. What if the AI is actually just trying to take over the robots, period, and it's taken over the whole entire race of the Awoken? That's why they're all seeing this one kid.
I mean, yeah, I'm more of the line like the AI is looking for Carl.
Yeah.
And it's like not functioning, and it's like, hey, when is Carl coming home?
Well, we'll find out if we're anywhere near that, because Brad will see this and he'll tell us. Or, excuse me, he will hint at it.
Anyway, all right, getting back on task, because we got sidetracked there. Tritus gives Cat a job to dispose another body, and Cat goes out and does this job. And then he takes another picture of the body, and he finds out this body is exactly identical to the last body that he disposed of. Immediately, I'm like, clones. But anyway, Kat checks out the body, and it's more empty than the last body. Kat breaks open.
It's more full than the last time. The last time it felt completely empty. This time it actually felt like I had something in it.
Well, I mean, like when he looked through it, it like there was a lot more like missing. Cause I'm gonna have to go back and read. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it now. But I could have sworn that he was like, it's. I don't know. Anyway, Kat does a medicine check or whatever, and he starts looking through the body, and he feels something on the inside, and it's kind of like a little lump or something. And he's like, he starts to break open the body with a crowbar. This is how horrific, how horrific this Five Nights at Freddy events happens. Was Kat just rips into this body with a crowbar, and just like, I'm looking inside of you.
My one note is he needs Sapphire. Because Sapphire would have tools.
And let alone like tell Sapphire what he's doing. But anyway, we find out that there's tiny organs inside the body. The body has like, and this goes with my theory of cloning too. I don't know who they're cloning or why they're cloning them, but I'm feeling that these clones are defective, and that's why the organs are tiny, and this person's being like thrown away when they find out that he's defective, because tiny organs can't support an adult body.
The only thing that I have to say is, Grant, please stop describing organs as if they're candy. They're not candy.
At this moment, that kid pops up wanting to touch the body. He ends up touching it, and then he talks about his mom. Him and his mom are waiting for him for I don't want to say Kat, since everybody's seeing this, but waiting for the dad or whoever to come back home. Yeah, and that's about where the episode ends.
There was one thing. Grant didn't say it. He missed the opportunity to say it. He said that the kid waved. I was like, you're supposed to say that he waves with his bloody arm, because the kid reached into the body, but there was no fluid, so there would be no blood.
Well, I thought about that too, actually. But if the kid's figment of Kat's imagination, there would not be any blood on his hand.
But Kat knows there's no blood in the body, or fluids, as it's been said.
Yeah. I guess the body was devoid of all fluids, but still. That was what I was kind of looking for. If Grant was going to say the body was moving or not when the kid stuck his hand in there.
Yeah, that.
But I think he just ends up touching it and was like, oh, it's gross. So he didn't like move or mess with anything. So we don't know if this kid's actual like physical projection or just all in the mind.
Yeah, because he hasn't hit him with a car. He hasn't tried to touch him, anything like that. Which I know this is not the same thing, but I'm getting it vibes, because the kid's holding a red ball, red balloon. He had a yellow raincoat on. I'm done. I don't like this kid. So,
where would you score this episode? 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10? I'm gonna give this one an 8. It's a little higher. It was probably because it's more like seamless.
Yeah.
And everything went really smooth. I liked how everybody, went back and forth. I'm still just missing a race episode in combat, but neither one of those are Grant's faults.
Yeah. I will give this episode a solid 7. It was a lot smoother. There was a lot more to it. There was a lot more information. I did like the role play. in finding out more about the characters and everything. The whole mystery of the Awoken has me on the edge of my seat. I want to figure that out and what has to do with that, because I'm just like, I was like, Grant, I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the world in the 4th episode. Why did you do this to me?
It's only the 4th episode. Can't do that.
Right?
I mean,
the last one had 118, so.
Look, I just went back and started re-listening to the last campaign, trying to piece things together, and I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it. So next week, this background's going to be red string everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was a great episode. The things last episode kind of slowed down a little bit, but things seem to be picking back up now. I can't wait for a fight episode. That's all I'm saying.
Grant tried. He tried.
I mean, they did.
I know it wouldn't have been
do anything
fair,
as a group.
but it'd have been funny.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been funny. It would probably ended up being really sad and horrific.
Introducing new character.
But I did like this episode. And do you have any final remarks for the people, Faye?
Give me my race episode.
You stuck on that, huh?
I want a race episode. I'm sorry. Actually,
Anything
that was
for a little bit more cat.
That was one of the things that I was gonna say when you were talking about the race. I was waiting for Grant to mention randomly Lecter McLaren showing up and racing against Cat.
God, I want that to happen.
See?
I want that. Oh man, gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
But all right. Any closing remarks?
Nope, that was it.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Miles TV. We are reviewing the Infinitum, and this was episode 4. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.